FORDEC is a structured decision-making model developed by the German Aerospace Center DLR to support pilots and other professionals in high-stress, high-stakes environments. The acronym stands for facts, the O means options, risks and benefits, the D is for decision, execution, and last the check. Initially designed for aviation, FORDEC provides a logical framework to help individuals remain focused and make rational decisions even in stressful environments. The model has since been recognized for its broader applicability, including in business and management contexts. In business, managers often face situations where time pressure, incomplete information, and high stakes can lead to cognitive overload or impulsive decisions. FORDEC helps mitigate these risks by guiding decision makers through a step-by-step process. Facts. Let's discuss this FORDEC tool with an example from commercial aviation. On modern twin-engine jet aircraft, a failure of one engine in flight is quite a seldom thing, but not the most dangerous situation that could happen. Aircraft are designed redundantly, so the other engine keeps us flying. Let's imagine the system message says, engine left fail. Then it states to land at the nearest suitable airport for our size and weight of the airplane. So after pushing all the necessary buttons and switches, our FORDEC starts with an F, the facts. Let's have a look. 50% loss of propulsion and also loss of some related systems. Luckily, the aircraft's brakes are not affected. So we pretend our stopping distance would be between 1500 and 2000 meters, depending on how strong our deceleration will be. We need an airport to land, preferably within the next hour, with a runway length of, let's say, over 2 kilometers and good weather. Well, these are the facts and also the requirements for our next steps. Options. In our example, we are flying at cruise altitude with only one remaining engine powering the plane. What are the options? Let's have a look around. We have an airport A, let's say with sunny weather, nearly no wind, but a pretty short runway of 2,100 meters length. Well, that's sufficient. Then we have an airport B with even less wind, but low clouds, shallow fog, and low visibility procedures in progress, but 2 runways of 4 kilometers length. And then we have an airport C, that's a major international airport with full facilities. Again, 2 runways, 4K each. But rainy weather and a strong wind. All 3 options are about the same distance away from our current position. The main issue here is to not skip some options already while picking them. Compared to your business, this could be the advice to not laugh about an idea that might sound strange and wasn't brought up yet before. The proper analysis will be done in our next step. Let's go for the R. Risks and benefits. From the 2 steps before, we know our requirements regarding a landing site and the details of some options around our present position. Now we start comparing each option with our requirements. The first airport with its short runway is sufficient. We could land there with a little stop margin. But after landing, we might not find any maintenance staff there. Airport B is a proper big airport, good facilities and maintenance. But the foggy weather is so intense that it's just matching our aircraft's certification limits for an automatic landing. We might have a certain risk of not being able to land there at first try, then we will have to pull up again and go for another airport. What about the third option? The international airport is kind of attractive with several long landing runways, full ground support after landing, including maintenance. but the weather was ugly, right? But analyzing the details helps us to see that a wet 4K runway is by far more than we need. The strong wind isn't bad, because at this airport the wind direction means pure headwind, no nasty crosswind at all. During these steps, a good discussion is needed to put some light on all thinkable details. Because if time permits, we want to have the best solution. That's what we call the risks and benefits. Decision. During our last step, risks and benefits, a proper analysis was made by our 2 crew members. Both of them might have a solution in their mind already. This solution will now be named, or let's say recorded. The captain announces the final decision. There's a smart way of doing this. The team leader, in our case the captain, asked the co-pilot about his intention. Why asking the fellow team partner? With that question, you involve your colleague and get his or her opinion without priming his or her result. Most of the time, both pilots have the same solution in mind anyway, because they did the analysis together. Maybe it feels just like a little ritual. If they don't agree, then it's a good opportunity to talk about it again and go back to the step before. Execution. So the captain, or let's say the team leader, announced the decision. Everybody in the team knows what solution we have chosen, and this goal is achieved with our standard operating procedures. Standard operating procedures? You want to know what that means? Okay, let's take you behind the scenes. In our example, the flight crew chose an alternate airport where a timely landing will be made. There are some tasks to do, like telling the air traffic controller our plan, informing the company's headquarters about that, informing the cabin crew, and taking the microphone for proper passenger announcement. The navigation device has to be reprogrammed to our new landing site. Approach preparation, a thorough briefing, and so on. In our flight crew example, everybody knows what to do. Each task is exactly defined and trained several times. So let's look at the comparable way of execution in your business. If we pretend a big accident happened in your facility or your IT systems have been attacked, both are very serious events. Do you have plans available? Who calls for immediate help? Who takes a record of occurrences? Who is in contact with relatives of injured employees? Who leads the rest of the organization which is unaffected of the accident or the IT problem? And so on. If you have things standardized, they'll work probably better and with less mistakes than doing it in a rush. This is what we call the execution part. The check. Before we land at our selected airport, we perform a short but thorough last check. Is the airport still okay for us? Perhaps any changes in weather? Or is the malfunction that made us change our route still valid? This little check shortly before landing gives us an important backup that we're doing the right thing and not running half blind towards the edge of a cliff. Is everything like expected? Good. If not, you might want to start over again with another FORDEC. The model encourages systematic thinking by guiding users through the assessment of a situation, generating possible courses of action, evaluating their consequences, making a clear choice, carrying it out, and finally reviewing the outcome. FORDEC is widely used in aviation and has been adapted to other fields requiring critical decision-making under pressure. In corporate environments, FORDEC can be especially valuable for leaders dealing with crisis management, strategic planning, or operational setbacks. By applying this method, managers can avoid common cognitive biases, such as decision paralysis or overconfidence, and lead their teams with clarity and accountability. Ultimately, FORDEC helps create a culture of structured thinking, transparent reasoning, and reflective action. All essential qualities in both aviation safety and effective business leadership.